What's up, everyone? This is Nate, and I'm back with another Out of the Theater review. Now, I know last video I said it was going to be Night Swim. However, I was able to go to the latest Regal Mystery Movie Monday, and seeing as how this movie doesn't come out till January 19th, I thought this would be a better review to do early, couple weeks in advance, let you know if it's something you should see. I thought it was going to be The Beekeeper, and it ended up being a horror film called Founders Day. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents on Founders Day and let you know if it's something that's going to be worth your time when it comes out on January 19th. But before I do, if you would please consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you get notified every time new videos drop. Give me a thumbs up. It helps the video do better, get seen by more people, and leave me a comment. Is this movie something you're interested in? Comment now before I give you my opinion on it, and let me know if Founders Day was even on your radar. Now, I will say, back in my podcasting days, every so often, a very special movie would come along that was just so horrible, I couldn't believe it. Now, the original one, I remember when I first started my podcast, there was a movie called The Bye-Bye Man. It's notorious in the old Flix podcast days. One of my favorite reviews I ever did. Absolutely hated that movie. Absolutely horrible. Hilarious review. And then a couple of Januaries later, there was The Grudge, the remake of The Grudge, the American Grudge. No, it wasn't even a remake. It was like a new, I don't know what it was. It was a reboot, also horrible. And these movies came out in January, a month we termed Junkuary. I stopped calling it January. I started calling it Junkuary because it's when they drop all the movies that no one really wants. Put them in January, maybe you'll make some money. Now, over the last few years, there have been some good movies that come out in January. Megan last year was very solid. A few years ago, I remember there was a movie called Underwater with Kristen Stewart. Was like kind of a low-key good movie. So the last few years, there's been some okay stuff. However, if this is a sign of what is going to be coming out in January of 2024, I have no hopes, because this is one of the worst horror movies I have seen since The Bye-Bye Man, which was 7 years ago at this point, because that was January of 2017. In the last 7 years, this is one of the worst movies I have seen. It is absolutely horrible. So first of all, this theater was packed. This mystery movie, it's January 1st, so the tickets were only $1. So there was tons of people in here. So they have this little like opening thing, and it's the actors from the movie saying, "You're one of the first people that get to see our new political horror, Founders Day. You go online, make sure you tell everybody about it." And as soon as they said it was Founders Day, about 7 or 8 people just got up and left and never came back. They're like, "I don't want to watch that." As the movie played, I'm not kidding, 15 to 20 people got up and left over the course of, really in the first act, they just started leaving. I can't believe this is coming out in the theaters. It is so cheap. It seems like a Shudder movie, but worse. I've seen better movies on Shudder than this movie was. Horrible kills, okay? It takes a long time for the body count to even really start to stack up. But when it does, it has like CGI blood, and the movie looks like it costs $18. So I don't know why they didn't just get some actual blood. You know, you see these movies that come out like Terrifier, for example. I'm not crazy with that movie, but it's super low budget and it has really good gore effects. Hire that guy. What's his name? Damien Leone, or whatever his name is. Just hire him, pay him some money to come and do your effects. He could do practical for cheap. The kills look absolutely terrible. The story's nonsense, okay? It is absolute nonsense. And throughout the whole thing, I literally looked over to my buddy and said, "What is going on? What is the plot of this movie?" You have a lead character who you constantly leave. Like, she's the lead character, but barely. Like, barely. She's not even in it a lot. She's your final girl. And she's in the final scenes, and she's in some scenes. But there's also a lot of other stuff that's just focused away from her. There's all these weird little, like, subplot love triangles. It's high school students. And they all go nowhere. They're all pointless. The ultimate reveal at the end of like who did it. First of all, it's pretty easy to guess. The funny thing is that my buddy guessed who the killer was. We both kind of put together the other ones. And, oh, sorry, spoiler alert, there's more than one. I don't care, because I don't think anyone should see this movie. So I'm sorry. If that really was a spoiler, I'm sorry. Think of Scream. Okay, there's more than one. And they're all guessable. You'll guess them. I promise you, if you've ever seen a horror movie, you'll be able to guess. There's this weird montage in the middle of the movie that's like a music video. Like, it's literally just blaring loud music, a whole entire song, and then like stuff's happening during the montage, but like doesn't mean anything. Also, I'm going to say this right now. I think one or two moments in this movie, one or two, were meant to be funny. I think that they were trying to make a joke. The other 86 times I laughed were not intentional. This is the most unintentionally hilarious horror film to be in a theater in a long time. The theater was laughing when I don't think you were supposed to be laughing. I was laughing when I know I wasn't supposed to be laughing. Not loud or obnoxious, but I was chuckling. I'm like, this can't be real. Like, this cannot be a movie that's going to come out in the theater. So it is January 19th. So I'm going to give this I will bestow this. I have not bestowed a score like this on this platform. None of my out of the theater reviews. But this is a score I used to do on the podcast if it really warranted it. And this is going to get the big old 0, a goose egg, 0 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a point. I think it's an absolutely terrible movie. I don't believe in that whole thing of like, well, give it a point minimum because people worked on it. Yeah, they worked on it and it was terrible. So I don't feel bad about it. 0 out of 10 whenever this comes out. Unless you are the most diehard horror fan, you must see every horror movie then. Go for it. But if not, skip it, avoid it like the plague, unless you want to laugh. If you want to have some good laughs, actually, if you're in a comedic mood, maybe then go check it out, actually. Watch it as a comedy, because it is not a horror movie, and it's not scary, and it's terrible. So that is my Out of the Theater review for this week. I will be back next week with another Out of the Theater review. I'm not going to say what it is yet, because it might change, but I will have a new release for you next week. Until then, take it easy.